Hi ladies, welcome to Alluvia Collective. You are in the explore page of the site. So here it's free. There's a number of coachings that I'll add to over time. You can just have a look around, get a little bit of an idea of bite-sized pieces of what sort of subjects and areas that we're going to uncover in tier 1 of the membership, where every week I will either do a webinar myself, I'll bring in guests, we'll unpack a topic. People can ask questions live, but if you can't join us live on those, you can watch them. They'll be recorded and stored. I'm going to send out a SIF sheet every week so people get like those, what I call the gold nuggets of information. And then you can ask questions and get into that rich chat that the community is going to bring in tier 1, which really is the most important part for me of Alluvia, is that we have each other to talk to. Now, this topic is a massive one. This is a really short, bite-sized piece, and there's a reason for that, is that there is still research being done. This has not been researched a lot. There is not a lot of evidence yet to support the why, apart from understanding, if you've watched the other trainings around estrogen, when I've talked about Dr. Marie-Claire Haver and how she explains the importance and huge job that estrogen has on our inflammatory system, also our blood sugar regulation. I'm doing everything I've always done, but I'm still gaining weight. And the reason that I am dedicating a small bite-sized training to this is I am particularly fascinated by this area of what's happening to women in this time of life. And so much so that I've been talking to a top research scientist in America who is actually focusing on this as research. His wife is in menopause. He is a body composition researcher, and he is just about to embark on this. So it's not even been done. Why are women struggling so much with body composition, even when they are telling you that they are eating even less and doing what they've always done? I and many other experienced coaches are seeing and hearing this issue from so many women from their early 40s onwards. Women who've always been fit and healthy, doing the same thing they've always done and just gaining weight around their midsection. Then they try and go into a severe calorie deficit and they find there's no shift in their weight, and that maybe they gain even more weight and they get even more exhausted. And so I am really big on trying to bring you the latest research around this. Now, that I'm talking about the sort of population that's already been moving a bit or doing physical, like whether they've been doing group fitness classes or going to the gym or running or swimming or cycling and all of those things, and it happens to them. And so for those of you where you might be looking at this and you've always been lean, but all of a sudden that's not the case, and you're gaining weight around your midsection and you're not doing anything different, there are probably more things we can change for you by changing the way you're training. If you've been doing lots of cardio and bringing in weight training because it helps with that lean muscle mass and reducing body fat better, sadly that's true. But for those of you like me who've always been active in some kind of way, we have to look at that too, but we're also trying to find out why this is happening, because no one's making it up. We want to cut through this social media messaging. There are countless influencers and even doctors and scientists telling you you're just not in a calorie deficit. Now, don't get me wrong. To lose weight, you do need to be. But I am seeing, like lots of other coaches, women who have been in a calorie deficit for some time and nothing's happening. And there has got to be a reason for that. So if you know you are and you're eating even less, switch that narrative off, because they're just not listening. And there are lots of us out there who are seeing this as an issue. Many of them in their 30s and don't have the lived experience necessary to understand what a large cross-section of women is going to look like. And science and research, I'm really happy to see scientists and researchers trying to study this, but I know from the ones I've spoken to, it's actually quite hard to study because you've got all these limited constraints around how you're allowed to do a research project. So what I'm saying is that Science can't tell us everything. We need to look at what's going on and look at all of these different parameters that happen around perimenopause and menopause to do with, I think, personally, stress, cortisol levels, and I don't mean drinking coffee on an empty stomach spiking cortisol. I mean stress in life. I mean not eating enough and that putting an enormous amount of stress on your body. Things like intermittent fasting and the stress that puts on your body, blood sugar spikes, and insulin sensitivity issues, which will come around low estrogen. And I'm almost thinking, you're just hearing this straight from the horse's mouth, spoke to one researcher yesterday and said, we probably need to look at different women's absorption, those that are on HRT. Some of us will absorb estrogen better than others, and we don't know why. And that could have a really big impact on how much inflammation your body is able to cope with, for example. Science has studied us not anywhere near enough. And in fact, science has not studied us. It's just starting. So it has no right to make assumptions. I am seeing a lot of 30-something fitness influencers with PhDs, they're exercise physiologists, in their 30s, early 30s, mid-30s, telling us that it's a lie that menopause has any impact on this and we just need to lift weights, eat in a calorie deficit, and all will be good. And I'm sick of hearing it. It's just not true for every woman. For lots of people, it will work, but it isn't for some. And I hear you and see you if that's been a problem. And as I said, there are those of us who have an idea, but to get it tested by researchers is going to take time. So my theory is that work one-on-one with someone like myself and tweak things. Make small changes and see what impact those things might have. What can you do? First of all, every woman is different. So understand that doing what someone else does is not necessarily going to be the answer, which is why I've got out of the fitness influencing side of, I used to be a personal trainer, strength and conditioning coach for years and post all about my workouts and stuff. I don't like that, because follow me because you want to look like me. Well, I've never done that anyway. But there are too many fitness influencers in this midlife phase in their late 40s and 50s who are literally got millions of followers of women who think that if they do what they do, they will look like them. And that is so dangerous. If anyone is doing that and that's what you'll find, please unfollow. Repairing your relationship with food is paramount though, because I do believe that years of deprivation and not eating well is what's affected women's metabolic health, and it's now affecting this. I'm just gaining weight and I'm doing all of the same things. You've got to change your mindset around training as well. You're going to need to bring in, if you are finding that you're just gaining weight by doing the same thing and you're a runner or a swimmer, triathlete, or, group fitness classes, you're going to need to bring more strength training in, because you need to flip that muscle portion of your body composition. Work one-to-one with a coach you trust and will meet you where you are, your lifestyle, what you're going through, any health issues you've got. Sleep deprivation, of course, is going to have a big impact. I should know. I'm lucky if I sleep one full night a week. So you need a coach that understands what that does and how to work with that. Doesn't mean not doing anything, but you've got to be able to work with it. So please make sure you find someone that understands what I'm saying in this training, believes you, meets you where you are, and can support you trying to make small changes and adaptations to see if they have a positive impact. But I hear you and see you. This is a very new area of research and one I'm going to keep unpacking as I carry on with Olivia. So thanks, ladies, and I hope to see you soon in tier 1 of the membership and for that rich chat where we can unpack topics like this. Take care.